Hello, everybody, and welcome to Women of Dance. I'm your host, Sharonne Vinokurov, and I'm so excited to bring you today's guest. When I say legend, I am not exaggerating. This woman really is a legend. To the hustle scene, to the dance scene, I am so excited for you all to meet her and hear her story. So, without further ado, please help me welcome our guest today, Elizabeth Darchi.
Hi,
Hello,
everyone. Hi, Sharon.
how are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on. I
Oh,
really
I'm
appreciate
very
it.
happy to be here. It's a pleasure.
I know you're a very busy woman. You always have a lot on your plate. So, as a reminder for the viewers that are watching, if you have any questions for Beth or myself, please message them, put them in the comments. I will pull them up and we will try to get to them as best as we can. So, Miss Darchi, if you would please give everybody a background on yourself and tell us how your dance life began.
Oh, well, basically, I, like many girls who were sent to ballet class, my mother insisted I should train in ballet. I mean, I didn't really take any jazz or anything like that. I was simply ballet. Only later on in my life, I started to progress to other dances. But in the meantime, during that time, I trained for till I was 13, 14, and then I was sent for auditions to performing arts
Okay.
as a major ballet dancer. So I made it. Was in that high school for about 3 years, which is hard work. It's hard work, but
I can
I
only
loved it
imagine.
anyway. Yeah, I did love it. And then from there, of course, you get wrapped up with a bunch of friends and a boyfriend, etc. And I moved off of ballet and disappeared for a while with dancing until I started walking into clubs.
Really?
Yep. Until I
Wow.
started walking in clubs. I would say it was a good 3, 4 years before I even considered going dancing, and even going to a club, I wouldn't even call it dancing. It's mainly, just social, you know.
Socializing.
Yeah, that's it. So,
Wow. I can't imagine that long of a time period in my life without dance. Like,
well,
wow.
I got wrapped up in other stuff. So,
Of
that's
course,
what
life
happened.
happens.
Yeah, life happens with that. And then from there, you realize once I got back introduced to dance is when I started to realize, oh, I do miss it,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. So it's when a friend of mine finally told me, you need to come to this dance studio in Brooklyn
Okay.
where they're hustle dancing. And I'm like, hustle dancing? What is that? Because at that time I would see couple dancers, but I didn't really know what the dance was until my friend took me. And partner dancing was a weird thing for me.
Really?
When you're a ballet dancer, it's basically just solo dancing. And even if you worked with a partner, it's not the same feel.
No,
It's not the
absolutely
type of
not.
feel with that. It's mainly support is what they give you in ballet than really a lead and follow. It's a whole different experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when I walked into the studio, which was called Darian's Dance Studio in Brooklyn, which was on 86th Street, and many of my friends would remember this. But when I first walked in and saw like hundreds of kids my age dancing, couple dancing hustle, I was mesmerized because honestly, the first people I saw on that dance floor that opened my eyes to it was Artie and Maria Torres, Artie Phillips and Maria Torres.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Wow, I got goosebumps just thinking about that, like that being your inspiration, like your first.
that was my
Wow.
first inspiration when I saw them. Now, don't get me wrong, they were after that I started to see tons of great hustle dances at that
Mhm.
time, but they were the ones who first caught my eye. So
Wow.
ever since then is when I decided this is it. This is going to be my life. I'm going to start hustle dancing and I'm going to move myself up as much as I can. Took me a long time because, of course, we all go through stages where if they don't know you,
Of course.
they won't dance with you. And at that time, you couldn't get into a circle or in the main area where all the good dances were because they pretty much pushed you aside.
Wow.
So Yeah, I can't tell you experience about it. It was a lot of fun to watch, but most of the times I find myself in the corner to dance with other people because I could not go near that group.
My God.
They were serious dancers out there. That was the whole thing. So with that, I started meeting people, started meeting Louis, and then I hooked up with a friend of mine, which I started partnering with, and we started, performing and competing and stuff like that for about, I would say, a good 7 to 8 years.
Okay. So what
Yeah,
year was this around?
this was around maybe in the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started to learn lifts and tricks and the feel of that, and it was just so much fun
Mm-hmm.
that we competed in a lot of the clubs, mainly that were in Long Island or Brooklyn, from what I can remember, mainly those areas, and New Jersey.
All right.
So we
Okay.
definitely kept that going for a while. And then, do you want me to continue like my whole dance experience?
I
Where do
mean,
you want
at
me to
least
go?
get me up to the part, at least get me up to 1998.
Okay, so from there, I went into ballroom. That's when
Okay.
I started training for ballroom and teaching. And that's where I started to then move into more with different feelings and styles of dance and use a lot of those elements into my hustle. So that kind of moves me up, really starting to push up to 97, 96, 97 and up.
Okay. I want to ask, of all the styles that you were learning with ballroom, did you have a favorite?
Of course, Latin. The Latin American is what I love the most. So you were able to do mambo and rumba and cha-cha, and I just loved that bolero.
Mm-hmm.
So all that is what I was doing at that time and learning and started to teach. So
Okay.
although I can't argue the fact of smooth. Smooth
Okay.
was great. I loved the waltz and the
Mm-hmm.
Viennese waltz. And I mean, tango was great,
I
but
love tango.
I know I liked it, but it was just not my cup of tea in a way that I preferred Latin dancing more. So
Okay. You do have some hellos. Katherine Johansson had said hello, and Janet Sohoy Page, but it says it's Deb Farrow.
oh yeah, Debbie.
She says,
Yep.
"Hello, my beautiful friend."
She's so sweet. All of them.
So tell me about the beginnings of you and Lou.
Ah, this was from the Batista's dance studio when I was teaching there. And they were doing one of their showcases, yearly showcases.
Mhm.
And me and Louis came out to show hustle with hip hop music, which we started and tried to introduce to the hustle world. It took time for people to relate to it because many of the hustle dancers were into, the classic hustle, but
Mhm.
we wanted to start a whole new feel by bringing in hip hop. And this was around,
Love
I think, 97, 98. I don't
This was
remember.
1998.
Yeah, I did flash up, but I missed it. So, yeah, so that's where we were coming into the world with this kind of style. And it's also when I was bringing in a little bit of, if you notice, a little bit of cha-cha lock steps and the way I would hesitate in my walks and everything and rumba
Mhm.
movement with my hip. So that's where we were starting to bring that whole issue into our dance.
I do love the fact that you said that you're doing this the hip hop music, which unfortunately we can't be playing because number 1, I wanna hear you, and number 2, I don't want YouTube coming after me. Um, but I do love the fact that there's like a juxtaposition between hip hop and yet this costume of yours is simple and elegant,
Yeah, and
which is
actually,
not what you would think of if you're telling me hip hop. Like I'm looking at this, I'm like, you're not using hip hop music, but you are.
yeah. And with this, I mean, I bought that dress in a store and I just put the rhinestones on the sleeve and I wore that because it was actually the style back then with those type of dresses. So
Hmm.
that's really a store-bought dress.
Oh, the amount of times I've worn things that are store bought and then just upgraded them with rhinestones happens all the time.
Without a doubt.
Ava Apple is tuning in from San Francisco. She says, "Great to see you."
Hi, Ava.
And she called you classy.
Aw.
So
Oh,
this is you in the Palladium with Artie.
yes.
Can
You
we
know, he just cracks me up. I love that man so much because he was so much fun to be with and everything. And during that dance, I had a great dance with him, but half the times the way he was fooling around would just make me chuckle so much. But I loved dancing with him. He was also very inventive with the hustle and would also play with a lot of the steps in the music. But yeah, I remember that. Wow.
It
Hmm.
looks like you're having so much fun, and I think that's one of the best things about Hustle, like, when you watch it, it just looks so fun.
Yes, that there's a freedom to this dance. I don't know if anyone's ever told you this, but there's something about this dance and the feel just gives you this freedom. I mean, if I had the right partner, like as you can see here, or with Louis,
Mhm.
I can close my eyes. It's almost like that blindfold with the with contests and everything. You could
Mhm.
close your eyes and just feel it. It's amazing to me with the way the feel of this dance is. So,
Is
and
that
with
what attracted you to the dance?
that's it. Once I started to finally learn and get the feel of it, yes, then I couldn't let it go.
Okay.
So it was a whole different experience for me. And also, if you're sad, if things are on your mind from work or whatever, this is your answer to work. Stop worrying, because on the dance floor, nobody ever thinks, except for the leader, maybe at times, but for the follower, you don't have to think about it. You just feel.
Absolutely.
So
I feel like Hustle was the first dance that I saw where a woman could hijack it, like, and just play, which
right.
is talking about the freedom. Is that something that you like to teach your students how to play within the Hustle dance?
I do once I get them through the basics. I don't like teaching that before they know
Oh, of
exactly
course.
their basics in the field. So yes, if they want to learn something like that with a different type of rhythm tempo, I would show it to them. I give them certain patterns or styling for them to figure it out from there, and then they can just move on. But with this, in this hustle world, at the beginning, it was
Mhm.
not accepted to do this.
Really?
No, it wasn't accepted. It started to come around at this time when Artie, me, and Louie were
Mhm.
doing this a lot. Then people started to pay attention a little more. We even, because of this, were noticed by West Coast Swing dance organizers that started to hire us to come
Mhm.
and teach the hustle, because they never saw hustle like this. They never saw the freedom in it or the play. Oh Lord, Lawrence Rush.
Look at you strutting, girl.
This was. Can I say the name of the song?
Yes, absolutely, by
Okay,
all
this
means.
this
Say
was
everything you want.
this is "Do the Hustle." This old song by Van. I think it's Van McCoy. "Do the Hustle."
I think so.
Yeah. Well, when he first came to me about this, I cringed at first. Do the hustle. Come on, we're past that scene. That's an
Mhm.
old song that most of the times they did line dances for that. But as I thought about it and he kept talking to me, I realized, you know what? This is one way to show people about using this type of song and show them the style and the advancement of this dance.
I
Because at
love
that
that.
time when this song came out, there was no way we traveled around the floor like this then.
I
So,
love that concept. That's fantastic.
yeah. And I mean, I loved it. This is actually at Hustle USA with Maria Torres, who was one of the organizers, along with Deborah Hampton. And I just went in there with him and we came in second. So, which isn't bad.
I
Wasn't
have
bad.
a I have a question for you. Because the hustle scene, like you talked about, the dance is so free and there's like opportunities for women to hijack it, as I like to say. Do you think that women have a stronger position in the hustle scene?
No, I think it could be an equal match. I
Mhm.
think it could be an equal match. The whole thing that makes the woman look stronger is, of course, the leader, because he has to pay attention to her and he's guiding her. But it can be an equal match for that. That's how I feel. I
Well, I
mean,
don't just mean within the dance. I mean within the power structure of the industry.
oh, okay.
Like I see there are a lot of very strong women in the hustle industry that run events and like Maria and Donna and Joyce, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Whereas in some other dance genres, they seem to be a little bit more patriarchal, if I'm
Yeah.
using the right word.
Yeah, that's fine. With this, I would say in the hustle scene, I think women were more determined
Okay.
than most of the men that were out there. But although I can't really say that, thinking back in time, there were many dance companies that were run and created by most of the male dancers in hustle that were absolutely amazing. So with the dance events, I think that's where you're seeing it. But there were also a lot of, like I said, teams and dance companies that went throughout Europe and performed all over the place. Just, so I wasn't part of it, but those are the scenes I would hear about and see. So,
Okay. I'm going to show a clip that you sent me. You sent me some fantastic stuff, which I'm so grateful for. But this is a dance montage that we're going to look at that you did for Artie.
yeah. Well,
I
I wasn't the only one doing this, but these are several numbers because Artie was hired to do a lot of shows, like yearly for Disco America, for
Mhm.
IHSC. I wasn't really involved too much with the IHSC, but for Disco America, it was easy because in New York and everything, and just going into Philly for the event, we were able to do rehearsals. So it was easier for me that way. But here is where he would do all these type of theme shows and performances, and this was actually one of them that
Mhm.
we did. It was actually maybe the fourth show we did, which means 4 years went by already. It's not the very first one. This was the very first one.
This was the first one?
This was the very first show that Artie pulled me into. And, I never experienced something like this. So he helped me a lot through this. But with this, it was just amazing. I just had so much fun.
Who are other dancers with you in this
Well,
madness
at
of
this,
talent?
at this time, Danny McGee, now the person here is Joe
Joe
Kerner.
Kerner. That's
This
what
is
I
Kerner.
thought.
He's This is great. Kerner was in this and he played such a great role. Danny McGee was in it. There were
Mhm.
several dancers in here at that time. Judy Sakota, I don't know if you know her. She hasn't been in the circuit for a while, but she was one of the good dancers. As you will see here, she does do a little bit next to me.
Mhm.
But yeah, this oh well, sending
That's
the
Danny right behind him, right? In the black,
yes,
all
that's
black?
Danny
Oh my
McGee.
goodness. Joe
Yes.
Kerner was my first hustle instructor. He
Ah,
is the reason why I dance hustle.
yeah, well, I could see why.
I mean, he's a phenomenal
Definitely.
dancer.
And yeah, and he's very talented. So,
Very talented.
yeah, so I mean, Artie came up with these outrageous ideas that just blew me away. And I had so much fun during rehearsals. I mean, the team here was just incredible. Not only with dance talent, but just great people. I
And
can't even.
Disco America is an event that happens here in Philly run by Donna Boyle
And
uh
Joyce
and
Zealy.
Joyce. Yes.
Yeah. Donna Boyle was the only organizer at this time. Joyce Seeley came in a little later,
Okay.
but Donna Boyle was the one. at that time who brought Artie in to do these performances and put together a whole show. Now, for this show, of course, there were many more numbers, but I couldn't show them all,
I understand.
but that was a lot of fun.
I understand. I'm gonna get to your competition days. This is you and Lou, IHSC, I believe
Ah, yes.
2009. Can you
Yeah.
talk about competition versus just dancing? Like, because I mean, this is lead and follow, like you were talking about, right? None of this
This
is
is total
choreography.
lead and follow. Yeah, it's called the Just Hustle,
Yep.
and there's no tricks, none whatsoever. Only lead and follow. You can do some syncopations in it because this is the pro division, so it wasn't that limited. But we would just basically lead and follow here. And wow, 2009. This was. I remember this.
Was that Danny and Ginny that just went running by?
Yes, they ran by this, and there goes who is that? It's
Erica?
Erica Smith, and I think that's Billy Marty dancing with her.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and also Joe Kerner and Stephanie Rizzo were in this.
We're
also.
there. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so much talent in this video. It is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, all powerhouses.
there were also couples from Italy, because at that time Billy and Katie was starting to bring in couples from Italy. So
This is you and Jamie.
yeah,
Also a Just Dance, but different. This is a Jack and Jill.
it was actually a demo.
This was this wasn't a Jack and Jill, then the video title was wrong.
Yeah, no, this was a demo. Because all the pros are standing in the back.
It says pro Jack and Jill.
No.
Well, whoever uploaded this video did not know how they uploaded it.
I don't remember Jack and Jill, because I know Jamie asked me if I would dance with him for this occasion for the pro demos, and I said yes. So I don't remember this being a Jack and Jill at all. And if this is a song I think it is, this is when I think we do a trick in this.
You and Jamie, you guys are all in New York, correct?
Yes.
How often do you get to see all of your friends, all your hustle peoples?
As many times as I can. I mean, I do go out dancing here and there. So, I'm not sure. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm thinking the wrong piece, because
yeah, this definitely looks like a Jack and Jill, my dear.
Yeah, this could have been the Jack and Jill, because I'm thinking of another piece that I danced with him. I used to work with Jamie and teach him, and we used to compete before he became a pro.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, so with that, during all the pro-am competitions and the events, we would win every time for him. He's got great lines. He listens, and he was a great student. So.
I love that. I had no idea that he was your student at one point. That's fantastic.
For about a year or so, because he came from other instructors also. Oh yeah, this is Canada.
Yes, this is you guys teaching at the Canada Salsa and Bachata Congress, one of my favorite events. We've actually had Jen on the show. I had her on for season 1.
Nice.
Going to Canada, always a great experience. How much do you love being able to travel internationally and share the hustle love?
Without a doubt. We were very, very happy that Jen even included us. We were excited and couldn't wait for every year until now with the pandemic. Of course, it slowed up, but
yeah, I've always told her that I love the fact that she has a hustle room at the Congress. And I never, as many times as I've been at the event so many times, as many times as I try, I never actually make it into the salsa room, because you have to go through the hustle room to get there. And I just get stuck in the hustle room.
Well, I have to say, I thought that was brilliant, because that was one way to stop people and look and notice the dance. So
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you on the show. A lot of my audience, for the most part, are salsa and bachata dancers, and I want hustle to be bigger. I want more people dancing it. I want more people to know about it. So I thought having you on would be, I I've already had Katie on and Veronica's been on. She does some hustle, but I want the
Well,
legends.
we try to help promote the dance as much as we can. Whenever events come around, we just try very much to promote it. So, to keep this dance alive. And plus the fact that a lot of young dancers are starting to come into the scene with hustle. They love the dance.
Mm-hmm. Again, because it's so much fun.
Yes.
As speaking of, right, because you're saying a lot of dancers are coming in, a lot of salsa dancers are really trying to get into the hustle scene. You see it a bigger division now at like Summit. Do you have a piece of advice for salsa dancers that want to dance hustle?
I say,
What's the biggest struggle?
I honestly, hustle came from salsa. I don't think a salsa dancer would have much trouble with it. It's almost the same concept with the way of the feel of frame and lead and follow. And my advice for whether it's a female or a male, don't take away that salsa feel when you do the hustle.
Okay.
I truly believe, because this is how the dance first came around, was from salsa dancing. And with that, there was a lot of hip action back in the day, and a lot of like Latino move, a lot of feel here in the hips. So you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to take that away. You want to still keep that feeling in it, but keep the same kind of like flow in a sense in hustle as you would in salsa.
I want to follow that up. So there are there's now what's called new style hustle, right?
Yes.
There's also people ask if there's a difference between hustle and Latin hustle. Would you mind clarifying the different styles of hustle for our viewers, please?
In all honesty, I
Yeah, in
don't
all honesty.
I don't see much of a difference except for slight styling. Like
Okay.
new hustle, a lot of the dancers are trying to put more play into it, which I think is fabulous. I love, just as long as they stay in rhythm and come
Hmm.
back into the actual basic step of hustle, if you want to call the dance hustle, because you can't overdo the play.
Yes.
Then it kind of takes away from the dance. So you still want to keep that momentum going as far as with the hustle. But I definitely would never stop anyone from wanting to play. So it's wonderful. And as far as Latin hustle, there is no real difference from. The only difference is, I guess I could say, is that there's not as much play in Latin hustle as there is with New York style
Hmm.
or new hustle.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's just about the playing.
yeah, those two have a lot of play in it, but in Latin hustle, there's not as much play. It's really, just straightforward hustle with some syncopation. I'm not saying there isn't any,
Hmm.
but in the New York and the new style, there is a lot of play. There's a lot of rhythm changes and hijacking and rolling on the floor if you want. I used to do that, but I stopped now. But
Anything goes.
anything kind of goes as long as you come back to the flavor of the dance.
I like that. Well, I hope that clarified that question for a lot because I've had a lot of people ask me about that. So I was like, I'm gonna have a hustle expert on this week. I'm gonna ask her that question so she can give you the answer. This is Hustle Up, New York City. Is
Yes.
this your choreography?
Yes.
Can we talk about you as a choreographer, please? And your
Okay.
process and everything?
When Artie passed away, what happened was I felt many of us felt the hole. We all know that once Artie left, a lot of things seemed to stop. So during that time, I figured, talking to Joe Kerner, we decided to start putting together numbers and talk to Donna Boyle about it, about starting to do pieces for her event. So we started putting together a whole production. I mean, I don't have the videos for it, but I've done several productions. I did like what was that? Oh, right now I can't think of the top of my head, but we
I
did
have
some,
I have another one of yours in my playlist, which we'll get
yeah.
to look at later. But
But this actually, then, of course, hustle is a love of mine and everybody else's that's in here. But I just put together this piece with kind of like a hip hop disco-y song. So
is that Veronica and Rainer in the middle?
Veronica's in it. We have Jamie Cerna, Reina's in it, Sally Mahoko are there. We have a few dancers in here that were amazing. They carried this number and made it look great. I loved every one of them for that.
What do
So
you love about the choreographic process?
how what do I love about it? It's like being creative, using your own style. It's like this is a chance you get to show your own personality in a sense, besides just social dancing. But this is definitely a way that I could, be creative like any other choreographer. I don't think there's much difference in how I feel about it than most choreographers, but I'll tell you, I love it.
I
You
do
know,
too.
yeah, I love it.
There's such a release in creating.
Yeah, and you get to, show your style in a sense in a different way. And that's what I did with a lot of my pieces is like showing different genres in a sense than just hustle. Even though hustle is my main love, I also did other pieces that weren't hustle.
It must also be really nice to be able to create something and have the talent like this to execute your creation.
Well, it does help having dance training. Because of my dance training also, I would not have been able to do most of this,
Mhm.
because a lot of this I still put some kind of you know, there's like jazz in here. There's not just hustle, there was jazz, there's contemporary a little bit in there besides
Mhm.
lifts and tricks. So it's not just hustle as far as anyone would see it, but it was different. Oh, this was a number I was thinking with Jamie that we did.
There you go.
Yeah. And here's yeah, I'm gonna wait till it comes up, but this was the actual pro
Jack
demo.
and Jill.
No,
Well,
this is the
this
demo.
was another year. So
Yes,
the
this
one that
is
we
a
saw of
different
you
year.
before was 2015, I believe, and this is 2016.
Yeah. So this was the actual pro demo, and he asked me if I would dance with him to showcase himself, in a sense. And I said, of course, why not? It'd be fun. And this is when we danced together with this. And he just decided to put me into a sweep here. So with that, I just decided, okay, never mind.
You're gonna do some floor
Play.
work.
Yeah, just play. So instead of just getting back up like most would do from the sweep.
Mhm.
So
I love that. That's
that's
so
what I'm
you.
talking about as far as putting some play into it and using a little imagination with it and just having fun with it. And we did. I do enjoy dancing with Jamie. He's a lot of fun to dance with.
It
So
always looks like a good time. And he's a lot of fun to dance with. I had some wonderful dances with him at Tri-State this past Labor Day weekend. He was
yeah.
really great. I have a video of you and Lou from Disco America 2017.
Yeah, this is the song Respect
Mhm.
by Aretha Franklin.
Great song.
Yeah, that we decided to do a hustle with, and we asked if we can have this song played, and the DJs and Donna and Joyce at that time said, "Sure, that's fine, as long as it's not choreographed." And this is not choreographed. This is just lead and follow play, no choreography whatsoever in this.
I love watching you play when you dance hustle. You're
Thank
so
you.
expressive. You just come up with so much yumminess, right? For lack of a better word, just it's so fun. You look so uninhibited and just like you couldn't care less.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dancing with Louis makes me feel that way, especially. I mean, we've been dancing together for like 35 to 40 years now.
Wow.
So it's like we just know where each other's feel and move. I mean, how can you not? But he lets me see. Most partners do not allow me, or some other followers or leaders will not allow me to do this. So he just lets me, if I start to hijack it a little bit, he can always tell, and he lets me continue until I'm done.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it
That
is. That's why
really is.
we have a great connection when it comes to playing on the dance floor. So it's also what got us into many of the West Coast swing events to start teaching, was that type of play, because
West
West
Coast
Coast
swing is
swing
my new
does that.
thing that I really wanna learn. I wanna get more involved in. I absolutely love
Oh, it's
West
a
Coast
great
swing.
dance. I learned that dance also, and it's a lot of fun, because that dance you could definitely play in. They do that
Abs
all the time.
all the time.
Yep.
All that this is the 9 and 1 performance?
Yeah, 9 plus 1
9 plus 1.
to equal 10, because 9 from the movie.
Yes, yes.
So, but there were 10 dancers in that. So I put together this piece. No hustle whatsoever. It has some tango in here. There's adagio. There's a little bit of a jazz. There's some ballet. I do a tarantella in there.
Love
So
it.
I mixed every genre in there that I could.
I
So
love how versatile you are and how much you can bring to the table. Like, you're
well,
so multidimensional, and I
thank
love that we
you.
get to show this to the audience, right? That you're doing all of this. I mean, look at how
Thank you.
talented you are.
Yeah, here goes Abdiel, Abby as we call him. He's
He's the best.
amazing.
He's
He's
so
amazing.
great.
Now, what made this a little different and a little more gender equal in a sense at that time,
Yes,
before
please.
everything, but normally when I had this number performed, it was usually a female leader in this. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to give it a twist. And I asked Abdiel if he would do this, and he was more than happy to. And I thought this came out great with him.
Oh, agreed. Agreed. It was so fantastic. Phenomenal number. And he really just worked it. He dances better in high heels than a lot of women I know.
Yes, I know. But again, you have Joe Kerner, Jamie Cerner's in here, Ryan is in this number. At this time, I think, God, who else is in
Let's see if we can
there?
zoom
Tybalt.
in on.
I had Tybalt in here. Along with,
Oh, there
yeah,
he is.
yeah. And then Christine Bendul was also in it, Mahoko, Sal. So, and my friend Julia was also in it.
Oh,
So many of
fantastic.
these people you would know. A lot of the rehearsals were in New York, and Joe Kerner took the trip over every time for rehearsal.
Wow.
Yeah, he was amazing to come into New York every time.
This is so phenomenal. I mean, I really wish we could play the music so everybody could hear it because it's just fantastic.
Thank
But
you.
but yeah, I mean, it's again, it's amazing choreography with amazing dancers. So it's, it all comes together. It all seems very magical.
Thank you. Yeah,
Are
and
you guys I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, and not alone with this, there are other numbers that I've done, but I just didn't have the video for them. So many of the shows that I did, because there are some numbers I'm going to start bringing back again. So
Ooh,
once,
now that sounds exciting.
well, yeah, I'm hoping with Disco America, because I have plans to bring this piece back. That's a lot of fun. So
Well, if
that's,
that's gonna happen, call me.
yeah,
I'll be there. I will
thank you.
I will do anything you want.
Thank you.
No problem. Donna was with us this past weekend, for Liberty, and we were talking about Disco America, so I cannot wait for that event to come back. It is a
Yeah, all of
wonderful
us
event.
can't wait. I agree. I agree, because I do love this event. It's a fun
There's
event.
Tarantella, like, come on, you're doing a Tarantella, and you're
Yes,
doing
that's
it
what
in
I'm
freaking
saying.
heels. I can't. I really wanted to make sure we showed, like, this full video because it's just, I mean,
Thank you. I mean, even for me to watch it, and I don't, it may sound a little, I wouldn't say conceited, but watching it just, I say to myself, did I really choreograph this? And
yes,
it's,
you did. You did. You really did.
But I have to
And
say, I still again attribute this to Artie because there were many times during rehearsals for his shows, I would talk, 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 and just play around with people. And he used to look at me and say, "What are you doing?" Nothing. And he said, "Well, sit here and watch. I want you to learn." And from then is when I started to realize, oh, he's giving me a message. He's given me a message to keep my eyes open and watch how this is handled. Because in a lot of cases, too, he used to take me to Broadway to a lot of certain shows or rehearsals. So I can also see how production was being done and how this is run and everything. He didn't quite come out directly to say, "You're going to do this," but I just felt it. I don't
mhm.
know how to explain that. I just felt it was a message he started to give me. And before we know it, he passed away. So that's why I felt so determined that I had to put these numbers together and try and see where I could go with this.
And
So
continue his legacy, essentially.
in a way is what I'm trying to do these type of numbers. Because in Disco America and most dance events, when there's pieces and shows, unless they really get into it, except for IHSC, they're different. They would
Mhm.
go through a whole production. There's a whole production. I'm
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I'm talking about these
Absolutely.
other events that really would say show, but they'll bring in just couples to do their pieces, which is beautiful, but it doesn't give much variety
Mhm.
in a sense. And that's where Artie started that whole field. And I just me and it's just not me. It was also Joe Kerner who partnered with me in this, who also assisted with this, and we got together and planned out a lot of the numbers and everything. So
It's I can't imagine how blessed you must feel to have had Artie in your life that way and to have
well,
him be such a mentor to you. I don't wanna make you cry,
no,
but
no, I'm okay because I mean, it's been so many years, but it's just that he did take me in a different direction and taught me a lot in a sense. And not only that, but he used to he used to travel and take me to Paris, take me to Israel, along with several other friends. He would call me up at times. I would be home and say, "What are you doing, Beth?" "Nothing." "Well, I'm going to book you on a flight," because he used to get buddy passes. "I'm going to book
mhm,
you on a flight for tomorrow. Come to Lake Tahoe, or come here, or come to Arizona. I'm teaching. You can come hang out." So I used to go. Free
wow.
trip, fun and everything. But he was very fun to be with. He was a lot of fun. I loved him. He was my brother. I loved him dearly. So
Yeah,
anyway,
his passing hit a lot of people very hard.
yeah.
It was tough for a lot of the hustle scene. I think the hustle community as a whole just really mourned his passing.
Yeah.
And I think it was the same recently with Lawrence Rush.
Yes, Lawrence Rush also, because he was the one that I danced with in that number and everything.
Yes, yes.
So I'm sorry I never continued with him. We never took it any further than that, but he really was a great lead, a great, performer and everything. And he was an interesting character, Lawrence Rush, because he just enjoyed life like some people do already, but for him it was different. It was like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it, to be honest with you, but he was a character in a way that just entertained you in a sense. So,
Gotcha.
mhm.
Gotcha. I have some more dancing videos, you and Lou again,
Yeah,
in
so
matching outfits, by the way. And this was not a competition with
oh,
your
and it wasn't planned. Trust me, that outfit was not planned. We just happened to come out with the same pants. It's
Are
too
you
funny.
sure? Are we really gonna buy that, Beth? Are we really gonna buy that? You didn't plan it?
No. Seriously, we don't do that. And I even when I walked in and saw him there, I just stopped dead in my track and I looked at him. You got to be kidding me.
Well, I guess dancing with someone for as long as you have, you guys are becoming really of one mind.
Yeah, I would think so, I guess. But This also is just social dancing, having a good time,
Hmm.
listening to the music and just going with the flow like anything else, like
I,
most partner dancing.
yeah. Most of the videos, or I think all the videos that I have, you're dancing as a follow. Do you like to lead?
Honestly, no, because when I have to lead, then it becomes something that I have to think about all the time because I don't lead. Like, I can lead. I'm not saying
Mm.
I can't, but it's not something that is my passion. I teach it, but follow, like I said before, I just prefer to follow because I don't have to think about it.
Oh, for
I
sure.
don't
It's
have
so
to
much
worry
easier
about
for
the
us.
other partner, where the leader does have to be aware of his partner
Hmm.
in a sense. But for me to follow, I don't have to worry about that. So I do lead now and then, but you don't see much videos about that.
Well, maybe the next time I see you at an event, I'm going to ask you to lead me.
Of course, you should. I would definitely lead you.
That would be fun. I've danced with Lou, but I've never danced with you. So,
Well, the next time I see you,
yes,
definitely, I'm going to pull you on the floor.
I can't wait. I'm going to hold you to it. I'm going to hold you to it. Where do you like to go? Like, do you have a favorite spot in New York where you just, you're going to go and you're going to have the best time dance and hustle all night?
Well, in New York, of course, anywhere that Nelson Roman is going to be, I love going to. And that would be at right now 412. And then, of course, there's a Wednesday hustle party that's in Chinatown that's happening. That's also great. And the music's fabulous. So when I get a chance to do that, I go. And then Starlight. It's Starlight
Uh,
in New Jersey
yes,
once a month. It's a great event.
that's
But there's
it's a beautiful
many.
venue.
Yes, it is. It's a tremendous studio and very nice. And the floor is great. The floor is
Yes,
great to dance on.
the floor is great. And they bring out great instructors like once a month.
Mhm.
They'll try to bring somebody else and they've had like Alex Kim and Veronica's taught and
Yes.
Tybalt, everybody. So it's a great venue. Do you think in New York, is there a place to go hustle dancing every night of the week?
It's getting there again.
Is it?
It
Because
is.
because I know that like in Philly, the hustle scene is just not anything like that, which is a shame. I wish it
I
would be
know.
bigger here. But like I can go salsa dancing every night of the week, but I can't go hustle dancing every night of the week. And I'm wondering, is New York better?
Well, New York does have more choices. I have to say that much. So, it's like now it's starting to progress more again. Right now, a lot of monthly parties are starting. But for
Okay.
the constant ones are the Mondays and the Wednesdays that continually happen. Oh, this is the
Tri-state.
Connecticut event. Yeah, this was a great event. It's our
This
first
was a
time being there.
it was a great event. So
Yeah,
much hustle dancing. It was phenomenal.
we were happy to be there. We had a great time, a good workshop that we taught, and
Which I have also video of the workshop, which I will get to, but
okay.
I
So
was you were still talking about the dancing in New York.
yeah, so Monday and Wednesdays are constant right now. Those are every week. And then there's parties happening all over because I see announcements from friends on WhatsApp a lot talking
Mhm.
about what's going on in New York. So there's many parties going on again. As far as how consistent they are, I truly can't answer that, but it is happening again. But once a month, Starlight. There's also Diane Nardone throws a party once a month. There's a few parties going on. Roberto Pagan throws a party.
Mhm.
So
What can we do in Philly to make the hustle scene bigger here? I got any advice?
I think there's many dancers there. There's not enough promoters or organizers to throw a party. I
Gotcha.
think that's where the issue is. There are many dancers who come to New York sometimes or go to Starlight
Mhm.
or go to Allied on a Friday because there's no place. Cooper's. It's also
Cooper.
another Wednesday night party that's kind of close to Philadelphia.
I'm actually hoping to go there tonight to celebrate my birthday. So if any of my hustle peeps from Philly or New Jersey or New York are watching, go to Cooper's tonight for some
Yeah, well,
dancing.
you're going to find a lot of dancers go there. So there are, except for the Coopers that's closest to your area.
We used to have Michael's Cafe on Wednesday nights, but that place closed, unfortunately.
I remember that. I used to go once in a while with Louie.
Yeah, it was a great venue. It was so close to me.
That's what's good, right? It's good
Yeah,
that way.
it was so great. It's a shame that that place is no longer, but yes, Cooper has replaced Michael's.
Yes, for now. Yeah. But like I said, there has to be more promoters to want to throw and get involved in throwing parties. I know Donna Boyle has tried several times getting some parties get going, but I truly
Yes.
can't answer how they've been going because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this I think was a great event in the sense that because it was salsa and bachata and like hustle all combined, you did see a lot of salsa dancers peeking their heads into the hustle room and some like, testing the waters a little bit. So
Yeah,
it was nice. And the room was packed and the music was phenomenal all weekend. I know
it
Jameson
was.
was DJing for a
Yes.
good chunk of it, and I always tell him when he's DJing, I'm in heaven because I know I'm gonna have some awesome dances because he plays fantastic music. What
Yeah.
is your favorite music to dance hustle to?
I like house classics.
House classics.
Yes, that I don't like disco, straight out disco, but a
Mhm.
house classic music that has a good funk, a good rhythm to it. That's my favorite. Where
That's your
is
favorite?
this? I don't even know where this is.
This is it's at Woo Loo Lounge in
This
New
is the
York,
Lulu.
in
Oh,
Brooklyn, October 31st.
yes, which actually is coming up this Sunday also.
Oh, look at you plugging events.
Why not? Try
Why
to get
not?
people going.
Yeah, it was just a hustle dance session that you had. A little fun, a little playtime, if you will. So what do you have going on now? What can we look forward to coming up next for you?
I honestly, right now, nothing because as I explained once before, I do work full time and that kind of consumes me a lot. So, and Louis works full time. So, whenever dance events come around, that's when we're around and we're active. But once in a blue moon, I'll teach a private, but I we don't do workshops because we can't find the time to commit. That's the problem. We can't promise the commitment.
Okay.
So as far as anything else goes, unless a dance event all of a sudden pops up, we're there. But right now, no. Mainly out social dancing and then trying to promote the dance. And like I said, my next project will probably be Disco America to teach, judge, and then also get a group together to perform a number.
Okay. Okay. Well, for those of you watching, make sure you stay tuned for the information for Disco America so that you can go and see Elizabeth Darchi doing all of her fabulous things, the teaching and the dancing and the choreographing and everything. Before we do wrap it up, I also have your information scrolling so everybody knows they can follow you on Facebook at Elizabeth Darchi, right?
Mhm. Correct.
Okay, okay. So my last question to you, it's the same question that I ask all my guests. I gave it to you in advance so you have a little preparation. If there was one piece of advice that you could give to women who want to make it in this business, what would that piece of advice be?
Well, I didn't really think about this question when you gave it to me because I totally forgot about that question. But
I love your honesty. Thank
but
you.
in
I
the
love
top of
it.
my head, on the top of my head, all I can say is if you want to make it into this business, you first have to totally train. Whatever your genre is, you have to work at it. It's not something that you just think is going to come with the snap of a finger or winning one contest. You really
Mhm.
have to work at it and get the basics and the structure and everything. And also that I feel not just one dance. You should learn ballet, you should learn jazz, you should learn the fundamentals of dance in every aspect.
Yeah,
And then from there is when you start to grow. And when you start to grow, then is when people will start to notice. That's the way I see it.
I love that. That's it. I think that's key advice, essential, it's you gotta put in the work
You
and you
have to
can't
put
be
in the
like
work.
and today you really can't be pigeonholed to one thing. You really need to be
Yes.
well-versed in multiple things.
I mean, even when I'm teaching a student, I would also tell them, please go out, learn other dances, not just hustle, West Coast swing, salsa, whatever it takes that you're comfortable with. And if you want to take it further for competition and everything, go for dance training as far as ballet,
Mhm.
especially because that's where you learn how to hold yourself, where your frame is and everything. And I mean, I use a lot of my ballet training into my lessons half the times.
Same.
I'm sure all instructors do that, but I mean, it tells you right there.
Mhm.
The fact that we all use that is already a message. So
Absolutely.
it's what I tell my students or anyone who would come up and ask me.
Well, I think it's all great advice. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you so much for coming on today and giving of your time and your knowledge and letting everybody
Well,
get a
Sharon,
little chance to get to know you.
I want to just say that I think this is a wonderful thing you're doing, promoting women of dance and everything. I think it's just wonderful because it opens people's eyes up to different structures of dance and different teachers and everything and how they feel about it. I just think what you're doing is wonderful.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It means a lot coming from you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our show today. Tune in after the holidays. We're going to be off for Thanksgiving, but we'll be back in December and we'll be taking it to the West Coast with Miss Kathy Reyes. So, once again, my name is Sharonne Vinokurov. This has been Women of Dance. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. See you after the holiday.
Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone.